CIA agent Jennifer Parker crouches in a rice paddy, her face painted with mud, waiting for a signal that will either save American lives or destroy an innocent family. In her hands, a list of names. Viet Cong infrastructure targets, they call them. But Parker suspects these names belong to people whose only crime was being in the wrong place when someone needed a scapegoat. Tonight, Agent Jennifer Parker will discover that in the world of espionage, the most dangerous enemy isn't the one you're hunting. It's the one who's been hunting you. And the person you trust most may be the person planning your death. Jennifer Parker wasn't supposed to be in Vietnam. The daughter of a Cedar Rapids Methodist minister, she'd graduated summa cum laude from the University of Iowa with degrees in international relations and Vietnamese language studies. Her plan? Join the State Department, end the war through diplomacy. But a CIA recruiter changed everything. Miss Parker, how would you like to use your Vietnamese skills to save American lives? 8 months later, Agent Parker found herself assigned to Phoenix Program operations in the Mekong Delta. Her mission: infiltrate Viet Cong infrastructure, identify key personnel, coordinate their neutralization. The Phoenix program was systematic warfare: identify political infrastructure, infiltrate networks, neutralize key personnel, win the war from inside out. On paper, precision warfare. In practice, something much darker. Parker's role was unique. Her fluency and mixed-race appearance allowed long-term covers in target villages. She'd spend months building relationships, gathering intelligence, identifying targets before coordinating their elimination. The psychological toll was enormous. Unlike soldiers engaging clear enemy combatants, Parker built trust with people she might later kill. She attended their children's parties, helped with emergencies, became part of communities. She was simultaneously gathering intelligence to destroy. Du Duc, 200 families along a Mekong tributary. Parker had operated here 6 weeks undercover as Jennifer Lee, mixed-race aid worker, whose Vietnamese father was killed by Viet Cong. Her targets: 3 high-value Phoenix eliminations scheduled for March 16th. Target 1, Nguyen Van Duc, identified as VC tax collector. Reality: successful rice farmer who'd refused to sell land to a corrupt official's brother. His tax collection was actually helping poor families with low-interest loans. Target 2, Tran Thi Mai, identified as VC recruiter. Reality: village school teacher whose crime was teaching literacy regardless of political affiliation. Target 3, Dr. Pham Van Min, identified as VC medic. Partially accurate. He treated wounded VC fighters, but he also treated ARVN soldiers, Americans, anyone needing care. His philosophy: a doctor treats patients, not politics. Parker's intelligence gathering revealed the truth about all targets, but her reports to handler Morrison were edited to remove contradictory information. When questioned, Morrison's response was predictable: your job is to follow orders, not second-guess policy. The breaking point came with final mission parameters. All 3 targets eliminated during coordinated operation March 16th, exactly 1 year after My Lai massacre. The symbolism wasn't accidental. Parker made a decision that would define her life: warn the targets, abort the mission, even if it meant career destruction and treason charges. Parker's closest ally was Linh Van Tran, 25-year-old translator and cultural guide. Mixed heritage, fluent in French, Vietnamese, English. Father was French colonial administrator who'd married Vietnamese woman. Perfect credentials for foreign aid work. More importantly, Lynn shared Parker's discomfort with civilian war casualties. Lost friends to both VC assassinations and American bombing, brother conscripted into ARVN, killed during Tet Offensive. Her motivation seemed genuine: create something positive in war-torn country. Over 6 weeks, Parker and Lynn developed genuine friendship, shared meals, exchanged family stories, confided hopes for Vietnam's future. Parker even shared real background: father's church work, mother's teaching, her own mission struggles. First authentic relationship since arriving Vietnam. For 6 weeks, she felt like Jennifer Parker, the person, rather than Jennifer Lee, the operative. She laughed genuinely, slept better, had someone to trust in a world where trust could get you killed. But Lynn was also perfect intelligence asset. She knew Parker's schedule, contacts, methodology, and increasingly her doubts, present for every conversation, interview, intelligence session. If someone wanted to monitor CIA agent Jennifer Parker, Lynn Van Tran was perfectly positioned. What Parker couldn't know, Lynn Van Tran was one of the most successful double agents in Viet Cong history. Real name, Nguyen Thi Linh. Working for North Vietnamese intelligence since 1965. Mission: infiltrate foreign aid organizations, gather intelligence on American operations, identify CIA personnel for elimination. Over 3 years, she'd been responsible for deaths of 2 American aid workers, 1 Australian journalist, 1 French medical volunteer. She was skilled, patient, completely committed, and she'd been planning Jennifer Parker's death since the day they met. March 14th, 21:30 hours, Parker prepared her final report in quarters above Village Clinic. Decision made: recommend operation cancellation due to insufficient evidence. Career suicide, but she couldn't execute innocent people based on fabricated intelligence. As she typed encrypted report, voices outside her window. 2 people speaking Vietnamese in urgent, low tones. One voice was Lynn's, the other unfamiliar, but not from Thu Duc. The American woman suspects something, Lynn said. She's asking too many questions, challenging intelligence. She may abort the operation. Then we accelerate timeline. Unknown voice replied. Elimination happens tomorrow as planned, but we add 4th target. Make it look like she died protecting others. Heroic CIA agent killed defending innocent civilians. I can arrange her presence, Lynn confirmed. She trusts me completely. I'll tell her I discovered new intelligence about planned VC attack. She'll insist on warning them personally. Parker's blood went cold. Not only was Lynn a Viet Cong agent, she'd been feeding information about Parker's doubts to handlers. The entire relationship was set up to monitor activities and eliminate her if she became threat. But there was more. Intelligence about all 3 targets had been deliberately fabricated by VC operatives to trick Phoenix program into eliminating people, keeping Village neutral. By eliminating these stabilizing influences, VC hoped to create chaos, allowing complete control. They were using American Phoenix program for their dirty work. What about the other Americans? Lynn asked. The elimination team tomorrow? Let them complete mission. 3 legitimate eliminations. 1 accidental casualty, perfect cover. By the time anyone realizes what happened, we'll control this entire district. Parker witnessed unprecedented success. Viet Cong operation turning Phoenix program against itself. But she also realized something immediate and terrifying. 18 hours to live, and the person she'd trusted most was planning her murder. Parker forced calm, thinking like trained operative rather than terrified woman. Panic would kill her. Emotional reactions would kill her. Only chance lay in outthinking people planning her death for weeks. First assumption: everything Lynn knew was now known by VC intelligence. Cover identity, real background, training, procedures, psychological profile, all compromised. Second assumption: communications with headquarters monitored. Calling for extraction might accelerate elimination timeline. Third assumption: 3 targets would die regardless. Even warned, nowhere to go, no way to prove innocence, but she could save her own life and expose intelligence failure, preventing similar compromises. The plan: use Lynn's expectations against her. March 15th, 0630 hours. Parker approached Lynn with rehearsed urgency. Lynn, we have a problem. Emergency communication this morning. Intelligence suggests Viet Cong planning to assassinate all 3 targets today. We must warn them immediately. Lynn's response was perfectly calculated: concern, surprise, willingness to help. Jennifer, that's terrible. We must warn them. I know where Dr. Min will be, checking elderly patients first. No. Parker tested her theory. Nguyen Van Duck first. His farm is isolated, most vulnerable. Lynn hesitated barely perceptibly, enough to confirm suspicions. You're right. Easiest target. We should go immediately. Walking toward farm, Parker noticed what she'd missed during 6 weeks of trust. Lynn's eyes constantly scanned surroundings with systematic vigilance of someone expecting hostile contact, pace faster than normal. Most tellingly, route avoided main village paths, taking them through heavy vegetation and concealment opportunities. Perfect ambush terrain. 0715 hours edge of Nguyen Van Duck's property. Lynn suggested approaching through Coconut Palm Grove for cover. Parker agreed, but entering the grove, she made her move. Lynn, I know who you really are. Transformation was instantaneous. Helpful translator disappeared, replaced by cold calculation of professional killer. Lynn's hand moved toward concealed weapon. I was wondering when you'd figure it out, Lynn replied in perfect, unaccented English. You're better than others, but not good enough. None of you Americans ever are. The others: David Morrison, Australian journalist; Catherine Phillips, medical volunteer. They trusted me completely right until I killed them. You lasted longer, 6 weeks of genuine friendship. I almost started to like you. Knife appeared with practiced efficiency. Parker faced opponent whose training clearly exceeded her own. Nothing personal, Jennifer. You seemed decent, genuinely wanted to help, but you're a CIA agent working to destroy my country. I can't let sentiment interfere with necessity. Fight was brief, vicious. Unlike anything from training, Lynn fought with a fluid precision of someone who'd killed with hands many times. Parker fought with desperate determination of someone who'd never fought for life against a friend. Lynn's knife barely missed Parker's throat. Parker's knee strike to solar plexus doubled Lynn over, but didn't incapacitate. They grappled among palms, each trying to control knife while preventing access to backup weapons. Decisive moment. Lynn pinned Parker against tree with knife at throat. Any last words for family? Parker's response was immediate, unexpected. Instead of pleading, she smiled. Yes, tell them I learned something important about trust. As Lynn hesitated, confused, Parker triggered smoke grenade from medical kit. Thick white smoke filled Grove instantly, allowing Parker to break free. In chaos that followed, Parker reached her pistol. When smoke cleared, Lynn Van Tran was dead, and Agent Jennifer Parker stood alone, covered in blood, holding smoking weapon, wondering if she'd murdered friend or eliminated enemy combatant. Parker had 30 minutes before investigation. Smoke grenade visible from village, suppressed gunfire carried farther than expected. She needed to disappear. First, search Lynn's body for intelligence, military-issue knife, North Vietnamese Army, hidden in clothing, radio transmitter, encryption keys, list of American personnel, including Parker's real name and CIA number. Most damning, detailed intelligence report describing Parker's psychological profile, operational methods, growing doubts. Recommendation: eliminate before compromising ongoing VC operations. Parker photographed everything, destroyed originals. Evidence would prove Lynn was NVA intelligence, but would raise uncomfortable questions about VZ penetration of American operations. Escape route through terrain no local would choose. Exposed rice paddies, difficult stream beds, jungle with unexploded ordnance. Same features made route unlikely to be anticipated by pursuers. 6 hours of careful movement through hostile territory brought Parker to South Vietnamese Regional Forces checkpoint. Her appearance, blood-covered, armed, claiming to be aid worker who'd killed VC agent, created exactly the attention she'd hoped to avoid. South Vietnamese soldiers detained her pending clarification. Within hours, multiple intelligence services knew Agent Jennifer Parker had surfaced in circumstances raising serious questions. CIA helicopter extracted her to Saigon by 1800 hours. Cover blown, mission compromised, psychological state questionable. Her killing of Lynn created intelligence situation requiring extensive investigation, possibly complete Phoenix program restructuring. CIA Station Saigon debriefing took place in windowless rooms smelling of cigarettes and stale coffee. 3 men more interested in limiting damage than understanding what went wrong. Primary debriefer was Morrison himself. First question set the tone. Agent Parker, how did you allow operational security to be so thoroughly compromised? The question revealed everything. She wasn't victim of enemy intelligence operation. She was cause of operational failure. 6 hours examining every aspect of Thu Duc operation, focused consistently on what she'd done wrong rather than intelligence failure, allowing NVA agent to monitor CIA operations for 6 weeks. You developed inappropriate emotional attachment to primary contact, Morrison stated. This compromised professional judgment and nearly resulted in your death. The attachment was part of my cover. Parker replied, Lynn approached me, offered help, provided cultural guidance. I maintained professional distance while accepting assistance. Professional distance. You shared personal information about family, background, mission concerns. That hardly qualifies as professional distance. What bothered Parker most, implication she was responsible for being deceived by professional intelligence agent. The debriefers seemed to believe she should have detected Lynn's identity through intuition or superior training. Real issue became clear discussing Lynn's intelligence reports. If Lynn monitored Parker 6 weeks and Parker filed regular Phoenix reports, then North Vietnamese intelligence knew exactly how program operated, what intelligence it relied on, how it selected targets. Operational damage assessment ongoing, Morrison explained, but preliminary analysis suggests we may need to suspend Phoenix program operations in entire region, possibly permanently. Parker realized she was being positioned as scapegoat for much larger intelligence failure. VC penetration was too significant to blame on single agents' mistakes, but acknowledging broader failure would require admitting Phoenix program had fundamental security vulnerabilities, allowing enemy manipulation for months or years. Easier to blame the agent who discovered the problem than address systemic issues that created it. Final blow. Morrison informed her CIA career was over. Your cover has been blown, operational effectiveness compromised, psychological fitness questionable. Agency appreciates your service but can't justify retaining agent who's become liability. 24 hours to prepare final report, turn in equipment, prepare for transport home. Service record would reflect medical discharge for psychological reasons, minimal pension, non-disclosure agreements preventing discussion of CIA service or Phoenix program operations. One final question, Agent Parker. Do you regret killing Lynn Van Tran? After 12 hours focused on her supposed failures, this seemed like an attempt to elicit personal confession or guilt expression. No, sir. Lynn was North Vietnamese intelligence agent planning to kill me and manipulate American operations, causing innocent deaths. I regret someone I considered friend was actually enemy agent, but I don't regret defending myself or preventing her from continuing operations against American personnel. Cedar Rapids felt like foreign country when Parker returned April 1968. The cheerful, idealistic woman who'd left for CIA training had been replaced by someone who started at unexpected sounds, scanned crowds for threats, seemed incapable of complete trust. Non-disclosure agreements weren't just legal documents. They were psychological barriers preventing her from processing experiences through conversation. She couldn't explain nightmares about killing someone she trusted, couldn't discuss doubts about American operations, couldn't even admit CIA service. For 30 years, Jennifer Parker lived with secrets she couldn't share, became professor of international relations, built quiet life few would recognize as belonging to former CIA agent. Students rated her courses on intelligence analysis as most challenging and enlightening they'd taken, but she never explained why lectures on espionage morality seemed personal rather than theoretical. The Phoenix program became subject of legitimate investigation after Cold War ended, but public discussion focused on effectiveness and civilian impact. Almost no attention to enemy penetration of American operations or psychological cost to agents who discovered they'd been manipulated by people they trusted. This is why veteran stories matter. Not just combat heroism, but moral complexity of service in situations where right and wrong aren't clearly defined, where the people you trust most may be your greatest enemies, where survival sometimes requires killing someone you consider a friend. Agent Jennifer Parker learned that in espionage, trust is both your most valuable asset and your greatest vulnerability. She discovered that the Shadow War has no clear rules, no obvious heroes, and no easy answers. She survived, but at a cost. She spent the rest of her life trying to understand. Her story reminds us that not all battles are fought on clear battlefields against obvious enemies. Sometimes the most dangerous fight is against betrayal by those closest to you. And sometimes the greatest courage is admitting that the mission you believed in was based on lies designed to make you complicit in your own destruction.